Shalom Aleichem, blessed souls. This is Don Mato, Don Zosio Goodman from Kiesa Crown Heights. The 8th day of the Hebrew month of Teves, Ches Teves, 5,700 years blazing and grazing into this blessed creation, hopefully for all of us today, in a pleasant and peaceful manner. Darchinom and Darchi Shalom. Before I continue with the part 2 of Parshas VieYeeGosh, the Torah portion that we of the community of Israel shall be hopefully be blessed and anointed to read around the world. An elucidation according to the Lubavitch Rebbe, Rabbi Nachman Schneerson, which he delivered in Tafshin Chafhei, 5,725 years blazing into creation, which would have been either late 1964 or early 1965. Before I proceed with the Rebbe's teaching and my trying to anglicize it for those who are not able to access the original Hebrew, for those who are not able to understand the Rebbe's original language he chose to speak as a means of purification, purifying all spoken languages of the blessed human race, that was Yiddish. I'd like to start with a little blessing expressed with hopefully the right type of humility emanating from the meditations of my heart, that we should merit, that we should have the type of bitul, self-nullification, self-abnegation, that should manifest as a type of first, second, and third nature within ourselves, and a sense of inheritance that is possible to be bequeathed from Avraham Avinu, the patriarch Abraham, who himself made of himself, from the perspective of his own divine service to the Most High in fellowship with other human beings, he considered himself to be as if dust. And this is a verse you can look up to verify that statement, blessed souls, in Genesis chapter 18, verse 27, Pashat Bereshit, Perek Yudches Chai, Posik Chav Zayin 27, Zach, cleansing and purifying. That being said, blessed souls, that we should avoid the type of spiritual inheritance from our forefathers, where our forefathers were in error, the type of inheritance of arrogance and self-aggrandizement, to avoid that type of attitude, and instead to walk humbly with our Creator, and to walk humbly with our fellow creations at all stations, among the nations, our fellow human beings, each one of them, including ourselves, all made with a Tselem Elokim, a divine image, with divine attributes that we should try to emulate and replicate, duplicate, and spread out into the creation, hopefully again in a peaceful and pleasant manner. So going into the Rebbe's teaching now directly, blessed souls, we see that in the time of exile, which the children of Israel were in a state of exile at the time when Judah Yehuda was approaching his brother. Well, he didn't know it was his brother, he thought it was the viceroy of Egypt, to release their brother Benjamin, that Joseph at the time of that exile condition, of the very beginnings of the children of Israel, because at the time that they were having that conversation, their father Yaakov, Jacob, Israel was living in the land of Canaan, among the Canaanites. And therefore, so therefore in the exile condition that existed at that time, where Judah Yehuda was challenging Yosef was higher than Yehuda, because Yehuda was one of the leaders of his brothers, or the leader, but Yosef was actually higher than him because he was actually second in command to Egypt, which was the, let's say, the America of that time, or the Roman Empire of that time, or the Babylon of that time. Of course, it was the ancient it was the ancient Egypt of that time. Because in the order of the chaining down of the worlds, meaning of all cause and effect relationships within creation, blessed souls, Zer Anpin is alluding to, blessed souls, there are 6 divine attributes which correspond to kindness and severity, and synthesis of kindness and severity. Then there is a sense of conquering, carrying out one's agenda emotionally. And then there's this splendor which comes after that, where there's not just the carrying out of one's agenda on an emotional basis, the practical action, but there's a beautification in that process. For instance, a person builds a house and they put carpet on the floor. Even though carpet is not necessarily going to maintain the house, it gives the people who tread on the carpet a greater sense of comfort while they walk on the floor, and especially if they take off their shoes and have sandals on or bare feet. They feel more comfortable. So too, the emotional attributes in the higher realms, mainly in the world of Atzilut, Olam Atzilut, in the world of intellect, okay, as manifested by Joseph Yosef, this is higher than the source of all kingship in the divine realm, which was embellished and manifested through Yehuda, Judah ben Jacob, Judah ben Israel, Yehuda ben Yisrael Yaakov. Yisrael Mizul, even more than this. Not only that, the Rebbe continued that we see in that exilic condition in which Yehuda, who was Malchus, was approaching Yosef, who was Yesod, which is the superioric configuration that is directly above, which I forgot to mention, but still Yesod is the means of connecting all the other higher emotional attributes to the point where it's now in a state of being congealed into a delivery system, which then can be manifested through the divine attribute of Malchus. Okay, that we see that Zer Anpin, which was the manifestation of Yosef on the human level, was actually being an influence on Malchus, because you see that Yehuda, the lower level of emotional attribute, how to approach Yosef, who was the higher level of emotional attribute. V'zel VieYeeGosh alive Yehuda v'yomer bi Adoni. And this is the meaning of what it says at the beginning of the Torah portion this week, that he approached him, that Yehuda said, my master within me. The Perush bi Adoni, my master within me, who should be Yehuda bi Yumshach Hashef me Yosef Tzadik. Meaning what Yehuda was alluding to, not just for the emancipation of their younger brother Benjamin, but actually the emotional attribute of Yosef, who was in fact a tzaddik, although to the brothers he might have seemed to be cruel at the time because he wouldn't let go of their younger brother Benjamin, that actually this is a spiritual request from the divine attribute of Malchus in human form, requesting from the divine attribute of Yesod to give him bounty. In this case here, release our brother. But in the future world, we're talking about the time not only of redemption but after redemption, but that future time, blessed souls, which is all of us, there will be revealed the root of kingship, which is allegorically alluded to in the human manifestation of the existence of Judah, Yehuda at the time, Yehuda being the son of Yaakov, which is will be revealed to be even higher than the root of the six emotional attributes, of the six emotional attributes. At that time, you'll see that my servant David, King David, will be ruling over them, particularly the 12 tribes of Israel, and in a general sense over the whole world, as a Yoetz Rav, as a great advisor to the nations, Varav Gadol, and a great teacher, as well as a Melech Olam, and will be king of the world. So this is what we're looking for and dreaming for, blessed souls, that the righteous rule of the Melech Mashiach, of the King Messiah, not just of Israel but the whole world, shall lead the world and educate all the nations, the blessed children of Noah, to conduct this world in a peaceful and pleasant manner through the engagement of the learning of the inner dimensions of Torah, which elevates us above not just right and wrong, but elevates us to which is very important, but to bring us to the level of Eitz Chaim, the tree of life, to bring us into eternal life mode. So it's done. Goodman signing off from Crown Heights. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Take care. Sababa, rejoice.